right. Hey, welcome everybody. It's August 7th at the Quantum Alignment Show. So I'm Tina Rusnak, your host for today. And today we're going to be talking about healing crystals and your human design, how the gifts of our earth can help support your unique deconditioning process. So I just want to say I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you to Cindy and gang for giving me an opportunity to share. I usually get to come on the show at least once a year, so this is my spot, I think. So thank you guys. Let's see, let's dive in here. Okay. All right, yes, I just want to thank you guys again for showing up and choosing to spend time with us today. And for being open to explore some possibilities that can really enhance or even to have fun with. So I wanted to do something really light. It's Friday, there's so much stuff going on. So I thought I would offer something I've been experimenting with over the last year and kind of bring it out, see what you guys think, get some feedback, and then let's see how it can help you. I just want to kind of share my story around how I've been using crystals and how actually we got here today is actually an interesting story, which I'm going to share with you guys now. So yeah, a bit of an unexpected journey for me from where I was about 8, 9, or even 10 years ago. I would never back then had thought I would be sitting here, talking about crystals and human design and all this kind of stuff. But I'm so excited, and I know that I'm in the right place where I need to be. And if you guys are here, then you probably are too. Yeah, so back then, there was a lot of energy shifting in the world, on the planet, in the universe, and there was big shifts happening back then. I know a lot of folks kind of have that marker, 2010, 2011, 2012. A lot of folks got called out, they were sparked with coming into the direction of things like human design and things metaphysical and waking up to where we really are. So back then, yeah, I kind of got hit really hard, and yeah, pick me up, please. I didn't really know where I fit in, what I was doing. And so I decided to just go with it. And so how I found human design was really through corporate coaching. I was just searching for tools to help me with, I had some challenging teams and just nothing was working. And so I found human design, and that really opened up this huge world to me and showed me how really it was really about the energy. Nothing was really personal. It wasn't that we had the wrong people in the group or the wrong people on the team. It's just we needed to move them around so that the energy would work. And it really helped. I was able to do that in a few corporate settings to do some experiments. And I think, the time is changing where, that's going to be more, folks are going to be more open to things like human design and all this kind of awesome stuff. So that's kind of where my journey started. And then it kind of just opened up into all things metaphysical. So I'm a 1-3, that's my profile. If you're new to human design, 1-3 is just someone who is a big investigator and has to experiment. And for me, my design is really strong with, I have to get to the bottom of things and kind of get to the truth. So when I learned human design, I had to find out, is this thing for real? And so that took me on the path of learning astrology, learning about the hexagrams, all things metaphysical, getting into quantum stuff, even some witchcraft, which I found is actually pretty cool. And it's stuff that I was already doing, doing things with the earth, and, nothing evil or spooky there. It was all good. And then definitely learning a lot about different astrology systems, getting down into Vedic stuff, really, I was really digging in. And then about a year ago, and so this is where the crystal part comes in, about a year ago or 2 years ago, it was a very popular topic. It still is to some extent about, am I a star seed? What's a star seed? And, where do some of our souls actually come from? And so of course I had to check that out. And I got on a 8-month waiting list to get a starseed reading. And it was actually fascinating. The reading is based on astrology, and they do have specific placements in the chart that call out, to talk about where you might be from and different, gifts and things that you have that are open to you. And so when I had my reading, I was really happy to find out that I have some access to crystals, where if I study and practice and really, get focused on them, that I have, a special gift where I could use those to help people, to help myself. So I'm actually just started a conversation with the group where I got the reading from, to talk about and see how maybe human design and these starseed markings might be interesting to look at as far as getting to another level. So really interesting. And so again, when I heard that I was empowered to use crystals, that was my signal. That was my huge sign to say, okay, I'm going to go for it. So that's kind of the journey of how we got here today, of talking about human design and crystals. So it's actually been a crazy last 10 years. I won't get into that, but ping me if you want to know the juicy details of the bumpy ride to awareness. And I think when I was younger, I had always thought that enlightenment or having a spiritual awakening, as they say, would be like this beautiful thing that happened. But it was actually, it got dark and bumpy, and I was very grateful to have support, to have human design family, and then all the other folks I met through all these different studies helped me get through that. So the power of community, can't say enough about that, of course. So that's how we got here today. So I'm okay with not getting picked up. Like back then, I was really ready for someone to pick me up, to take me out of here, but I'm all good now, pretty grounded and ready to share, what I want to, ready to share the next couple things with you. So yeah, before we get into looking at, we're going to focus today on the throat center when it comes to crystals. But before we begin, we have to get this part out of the way. So yes, I want to make sure we're aligned, and this is what I'm coming into these sessions with, is that yes, we create our own reality. And I know if you attend these sessions and follow Karen and all the great stuff this group does, that this is where it's at. So yes, strong belief, clear intentions, my new 3Ps. So this is something I picked up the last few months. It's part of one of my lessons from my chart, which there are many. So yeah, having patience, being persistent, positivity. I don't really need, I have tons of that. So that's cool. Yeah, and this heart-centered compassion. So this is a conversation I've started to have with some of my clients and some folks that I work with around, this definition of love and healing and, empathy versus compassion. And so what I've decided is that as part of my creation and what I want to help people do is, make that heart-centered connection with the idea of compassion. And of course, self first, and then, doing that and being there for others. So, and of course, following inspirations and using your HD strategy, which of course is a given when we're talking about human design. We've got to be following our strategy. So this is our assumptions. We're going to go with this as we get into this topic. So let's see what else I've got for you guys. Okay. So yeah, so I just wanted to share, a little bit about me. I actually don't like talking about myself too much, but I wanted to share just a little bit about my design so you kind of know where I'm coming from. So like I mentioned, I'm a 1-3 cross of the unexpected. If you have that cross, we should talk, because it is totally true. It has been a life of unexpected lessons and wonderful things. And it's been just, simply amazing. And to have human design as, a model and a basis to look back and then to look forward, it's been absolute, there's no words I have for this. But yeah, so manifesting generator, lots going on, lots of energy. I got that emotional thing going. So for me, a lot of my learning over the last 10 years has been around, again, the patience and the waiting and not rushing, which has also helped me to avoid burnout, because I've been down that road a couple times. And so I don't see any burnout in my future, thanks to human design and following it and practicing it. So again, I am a truth seeker. And so that's where we're at today. So I've kind of got to the bottom of a lot of things, and yes, it's all true. So astrology, all this metaphysical stuff, it is all tied to science. And I've made the connections between all these different readings, looking at the different alignments with Vedic astrology and human design and this new starseed reading that's happening, the hexagrams, numerology. So yes, I am totally on board, and I'm so glad to be here today to let you guys know that, I've been doing a lot of investigating, and I would never be on this webinar if I wasn't 10,000% sure about what I was going to share with you. So here we go. All right, yeah, so focus on the throat center. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And it's not going to be too deep or heavy. I am not claiming to be a crystal expert. There are so many amazing books and people out there. And of course, Google, there's tons of resources. And then of course, if you have metaphysical stores, in your area. I'm sure you could pick up crystals. So I'm not looking to become a crystal expert. I just did some experimenting through my own growth to heal myself. And so I wanted to share that with you guys today. So I wanted to focus on the throat center because this has always been a big challenge for me. Having the 43-23, I learned very early to be quiet and, wait for the right timing to share things. So I kind of learned that really early in life. But besides that, with my gates, there was definitely things I needed to heal and let go. And so the final kind of piece for me was actually being able to find a physical 3D tool that could help me do that, because having human design was great. And I remember when I first learned it, it was an amazing tool, but it was completely overwhelming. And so looking to have something to help bridge that from the knowing of the design and understanding what you should do to having something physical. So this is I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is Diana. This is my miracle amethyst pointed crystal. So she stays with me like a lot. She's helped me through a lot. But I just wanted to show you guys her. But yeah, so let's talk about this. So yeah, the throat center. So if you're not familiar with human design, I'm not gonna be going through the whole chart. Just want to focus on one area today. So that is our communication and manifestation center. How we, bring transformation through how we communicate and the things we bring into the world. It's the unique way that we can express ourselves and how we manifest, real things into the physical 3D. Yeah, so the most complex center, I definitely have to agree with that, although I think the head center is quite challenging, being open, because it's like never ending as a 1-3. It's just, I have to know everything. So I have to calm that down sometimes. But yeah, the most complex center, because you can see, all of the energy from the below centers, the goal is for those centers is to get those expressed. Right, so our root, our emotions, our sacral, our will, our G center is trying to move up through the throat so that we can be expressed. So because of that, it's got all these gates, and so how do we do that, right? So we're not going to get into solving those things today, but just a quick review of the throat center. So that's kind of high level. Hopefully I'm not rushing, but. So yeah, so here is just a quick slide with traditional definitions and around the gates of the throat center. So there's quite a few. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but really what I want to share here is that, as you can see, I love the idea of the voice of the gate. So this has been really helpful for me in recognizing when I'm communicating, the different language I use, and then also working with clients. Sometimes as we're talking, like I can catch them, and since I know their design, we can we can talk through how they may be, expressing that voice, so whether it's defined or open, that part, like I said, I don't want to get into that today in the details, but for today's purpose, it's really about the core of the gate, right? So I think or not, I know or not. So I have the gate 23. I don't say a lot I know, but the way I express myself, it definitely comes across the energy of, hey, she knows what she's talking about. And so sometimes you will, when you have these things active, because they're more part of your energy, you may find yourself, actually saying these words, but a lot of times it's just the energy behind the I know that people will pick up, right? So I don't go around saying, I know, but the way I communicate that, that will resonate with you with that, yes, she knows. So hopefully that's happening today, that you're picking up that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to human design and crystals. So hopefully that's happening, right? So then we've got the rest of these guys here, right? So I believe or not, I experiment or not. So again, it's not just about, saying these words, but it's about how you show up and how you're interacting with the world with this energy. So for today, I just picked out a few gates to walk through. I don't pick out, different crystals for all the throat gates, just a few. And so what else I want to say here? Yeah, so what are we communicating? So let's talk a little bit through that. So if you think about the gate 62, the gate of details, and the voice of that gate is I think or not. So if you also look at the definition about what it's communicating, right? So details and facts. So I know for me, when I'm expressing this, I want to make sure that I've got some facts. I have some information to back things up. So for example, when we sent out actually the invitation for this session, you know, I brought up things about how there was science and that people have actually done research around crystals and things like that, right? So I think this is something I'm gonna, you know, share with you guys, but I wanna make sure that I've got some facts to express that. Right, so we talked about the gate 23, so right, so individual insights. And again, some of this will have to do with the actual channel where these gates are connected to. So like I mentioned before, for myself, having the 4323, this is definitely something that I've had to learn to practice on when I get those insights, how I'm gonna express them and the timing around that. So it's really about communicating it for me at the right time. So this is going to be really specific to your design, which I love, because the whole idea of that, you know, we're all unique and individual is something that, you know, I have always believed strongly in. And you can, if you know me, you can see that with my kids. we definitely have an interesting family dynamic because, you know, they are allowed to be unique within, of course, some boundaries. So what else is an interesting one here? Okay, so 20. The gate of the now, the gate 20. So I am now or not. So instant clarity, enter action. So this is a very, one of the powerful gates. This is part of the manifesting generator group if you're connected to the 34. But this one is really about, you know, for me, my experience of this gate and this channel has been that, you know, people will pick up that I'm just not available. You know, as I have learned to share the things I intend to do, that has helped, you know, to temper the energy around, you know, the things I have going on, and for folks not to take that personally, but like right now I'm doing this thing. So that has been like a fascinating journey to really understand that channel. And again, it's the energy that comes out, not so much about, you know, saying, well, right now I'm doing this. That's definitely part of it as part of my strategy, because I need to inform people before I do anything so they don't completely freak out. And then the other part of this gate and the 2034 channel is around the action part. So you'll see this a lot where folks that have this activated consistently, you know, they're busy, right? So busy, 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 which again is something I have also learned a lot, you know, being a manifesting generator, you know, not to miss out on things just because you're busy and you're busy expressing yourself about the things you're doing now and all the action you're taking. I really learned how to take a lesson from that because I was busy doing a lot of things for a lot of people, and I missed a lot of things, just missed it. Like I could be in the middle of an amazing party or a great experience and I was really not there. So the complexity and the level of depth on these gates for the throat, I can't express that all to you today, but just wanted to touch on a few and share. And again, so what I'm going to do is share a little bit about the crystals that I have used to set intentions and to work on some of the gates that I've had to help me kind of release the final blocks and to support me also. So for example, if I'm having a meeting or I'm going to be going to talk to a client, or there's something that I know I need to be confident about, I want to make sure that I'm going to bring that crystal with me and set that intention and have it with me on my body and practice, you know, the belief that, you know, I'm going to be going to this session. I need to be secure in the knowingness that I'm going to express. So again, like I mentioned before, actually having something physical for me has been really powerful. So I will leave it at that. Let's see what else I got here for you guys. Okay, yeah. So do we have anything, Cindy? Sorry.
I had to, well, there was a couple of questions that came up and I was just checking, when did you want to go for questions?
Let's see, where are we? Yeah, we can take a few now because we've got time. Yeah, so we're good.
Okay, well, the first question, and maybe you can share this under the replay, is people are asking, does anyone know a good place to get a starseed reading?
Oh, yes. So I actually have that in the deck. So I have a link. And like I said, I am speaking with them. They have been super busy ramping up folks to train to do the readings. So when I signed up to get mine, like I said, it was like an 8-month waiting list. Right now it's like a 6-month waiting list. So yeah, I'll share you guys the link in a second. So yeah.
And the other one was an interesting one, because we have a lot of newbies here today, actually.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
And we actually have a new reflector. And so this question that came up is that she's interested in learning more about not having any of the gates activated on the throat. And the throat is the only center with no gates activated.
Yep.
Want to comment on that?
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely, I know we have, tons of resources, and I'm sure you're learning all about your design and having the complete open throat. It's been interesting, like once you really learn and understand the human design, I have actually learned a lot by watching other people, right? So I know some of the teaching around the open throat will be, and I can't remember the story that Karen used to share, but it was a while ago. But anyway, the idea of that people that, and I'm not saying this is the person who asked the question, but just something that I always found interesting was that, when you have that openness there, how a person will, use it mistakenly to push things out. So, it could be the annoying guy at the party who always wants to be heard. They're always kind of pushing their ideas out. So it's been interesting to kind of learn this and then watch others and then say, that guy has an open throat because he just will not stop pushing on this thing that he's trying to express. And so I'll tell you a little bit as far as the crystals go, that what I'm experimenting with now is that I don't think it really makes a difference whether they're defined or open. I think it will take like some experimenting with, what you're trying to heal or what you're trying to solve as far as, which crystal to use. And then also, so there's a lot of different combinations that can go into it. But I think I do feel for reflectors because I have that, the 2343. And so I have to do a lot of that too, where I have to really wait before I open my mouth. Because I have seen weird. I have kind of been the weirdo when I was younger, but I learned early to just wait. And then when the timing is right, when you get invited, right? Because it's the whole idea of this, that it's projected. But it's so beautiful and it saves so much energy. So it's almost been like a blessing to me to know that, I don't have to say anything. Like I don't have to have the pressure to say something until I'm invited to. And then, watch out. Once you ask me something, forget about it. You're gonna get all of it. But I would definitely, I'm gonna give some contact information. So I would love to have, a quick one-on-one if you want to explore more about your reflector. That would be great.
So just, she says, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the ask and response. Yes.
Oh, great.
And I know that Karen always says, especially with like a completely open center, then, because I have a completely open G. So but that's one that you have no real expectation so that you can really rest into it so that when you ask and receive, you get to experiment and feel all the different things, like all the different voices that you shared on your slide there.
Right. Yeah. And so, so Cindy, great point. Yeah. So the idea of the openness is, it's fascinating as well, because for me, I have an open G2. I have one gate active on the G center. And so that was a huge, that maybe had to be the hugest thing I learned with human design, was actually learning about my G center and how no matter who I was with, I had this like great energy of like building rapport really quickly. I can kind of fit in anywhere with like, and it's a really amazing gift. And part of that is having this open G where you can kind of blend in because you're amplifying the energy of where you're at. So I think, again, the experimentation is really fun, but again, take that with, the more aware you become of this energy and the experiments and the lessons, you have a choice, right? What am I going to do with this now? Do I just forget about it and say, oh, I don't really believe this or whatever, or do you keep going with it? And so that's kind of what I was saying earlier, that, the road to enlightenment has lots of bumps and gaps and and crazy things that you may encounter, but I would definitely say it's worth it, with support, and again, depending on, what your need is and what you're trying to achieve with learning human design or anything that you're really getting into. So yeah, the open centers, I have one of my son, and he's got, I think, only one or two open, one or two defined, and he has learned, he's been trying to practice for at least the last 5 years. He's taking it seriously, and it's really about the strategy. Like, follow your strategy, and then be aware of who you're around. Hey, when I'm with this group of people, I always seem to have this kind of energy, or I always seem to be expressing this. Like, why is that? And then when I go to this group, I show up and I express myself differently. So it's fascinating. So yeah, if they want to reach out, that would be great.
And I think Lynn was saying with your crystals, and I think you're probably going to go on at that, it makes it easier to set your intention.
Yeah.
So yeah. We're segueing maybe into
thank you.
Further into the
perfect. Yeah, so I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. I did want to give a little shout out to see if any of you guys are ready to come to the first annual International Human Design Conference. It's going to be virtual. I was so looking forward to doing this in person, but hey, we're still doing it. So actually, I'm going to be a speaker talking about communicating with manifesting generators. So just wanted to remind you folks about this. If you're part of the community, I'm sure you've been seeing all kinds of stuff about it. You'll probably be seeing more, but I would love to see you there. And if you're an MG or not, we're definitely going to be talking about communication. That's the theme for the speakers. So depending on your type, it would be awesome to come and learn and find out more stuff, get in with the community. So I highly recommend that you come to this because I'm super excited. So just wanted to set a reminder out there. Oh, that slide does not look so good. Whoopsies. Okay, so apologies for this. But in all transparency, it looks like this, I forgot to either remove a slide or fix it. But basically, we're just going to go with it. So in the advertisement and in the summary of the session, I did talk about, how there have been experiments. And for me, what I'm trying to do, and I think I've kind of shared a little bit about you, is that in my trying to get to the truth, I'm actually finding this amazing balance between the science and the spirit. So science and spiritual stuff, right? And it is proving out. I know Karen's been doing a lot of work there, with quantum things and all of this. It's amazing how things are being proven, that all the woo stuff is now is being proven slowly, but I think even more quickly now, that these things are real, and that, the things we can't see are real, and that, my buddy Crystal Diana here, she's real. She's got energy in here. She's got something to say. She's got information in here, that's going to help me. So I apologize for the slide. I'll fix that up, Cindy, before we send out the PDF. But like I was saying earlier, I'm not here to tell you that I'm an crystal expert, but I have definitely over the last few years have quite a large collection. I've kind of been playing with them here and there, but I didn't really take it seriously until about maybe the last year or so, where I was actually being kind of like called to them. And then it was really interesting how the whole starseed thing came up. And then, like I said, once they told me you have the crystal gift, I was like, okay, that's all the confirmation I need. So let's see. And like I said, I'm sure if you're part of this community, or that you hear a lot about crystals, and there's tons of information out there. So I apologize. I've got the wrong slide here. Okay, yeah. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about, which I think was on the slide that that was supposed to be there, was a little bit about how the idea of, how we came to be and how the earth came to be, right? And that we are all connected. We are all made of, the same stuff. And that, my connection to the earth has varied from over my life. Like I'm not like and I know it's only like certain people will do that, but like I have not been a big like planet activist. I always do my part and teach my kids about, being respectful and, not damaging things, and about, recycling and all that kind of stuff. But another thing that's come up for me on my journey is that how important that connection really is, and that, you don't have to be marching or setting up a foundation to support the earth. It really just starts with, one person at a time, with yourself at a time. And so the crystals have helped me to kind of reconnect and to help ground me in the earth, if you will. Just with, my MG energy and trying to slow down, I was missing this earth piece. And so that has come up for me. And I think, I believe in divine timing and everything making sense. So crystals are going to be my path to getting that connection back to the earth. And so that will be different for everyone. And that's what I have here saying, like, right, it's not woo anymore. These things are becoming like normal, mainstream. And again, it's that balance of the science and, using a crystal as a technology, right? So it's a tool. Like my Diana, my amethyst point, she is a tool for me. This is not a woo-woo fake thing. And part of that has to do with, your belief, your intention, all your learning and understanding. So in our, so for the newbies, if you haven't heard of we have quantum healing practitioners and a whole science and spiritual healing practice that employs such essential oils and flower essences to help with the subtle body layer. And so for me, as I was learning those practices, it wasn't really, those things didn't seem to really, stick with me, the oils and the flower stuff. And so I had tried it. I tried doing all the work, but it wasn't clicking for me. But for me, it was the crystal that was really helping to do the healing for the channels and the gates and that kind of stuff. So there are options, there are tools out there, right? So I love, what Cindy brought up, that idea of experimenting to find, what resonates for you, right? To find that 3D tool that, I can teach you your human design, but for some people like me, I need to ground it and physically have something to move forward with. So yeah, I don't know if there's any comments around here, but yeah, even tarot cards. So I have a lot of new friends who are so gifted, and because they're just learning and just starting out, they need a way to, deliver that message. So folks who do tarot readings, right? It's not really so much the card, it's just having that medium to, express it through and practice it through. And I'm pretty sure that some of those ladies who are learning this now, and eventually I don't think they'll need those cards anymore, but it is fun, right? That's the other part. So I'll pause there. Anything coming up?
Well, there was the question on conference, and we'll share that link at the end again. And then Paige on Facebook was saying she's a generator with a divine throat, and she resonated when she was told to be quiet, or she was quiet, told she was too quiet.
I feel you, because yes. So when I was growing up, it's really funny how, again, it's that duality in the chart and the stuff you have to learn. Yeah. So when I was young, I was the quiet one. So I was labeled the quiet one. And then when I did speak, it was like, shut up. I was like, make up your minds. So yeah. But also it depends on, who's around you, right? So your conditioning, I'm not going to get into all of that today, but, the things that we talk about in our DNA and our ancestral heritage, and then our parents and teachers and our friends, like who's conditioning us when we're young like that. So I think, I was pretty young when that was happening. So probably before 7, being conditioned in, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Do you want me to be quiet or you want me to talk? So imagine, I know how you feel. Okay.
So we had Adina on Facebook was saying, I'm a channel. She's been working on her throat chakra, but she was also told she was too loud and talked too much. And Michelle had a question.
Define throat?
She has not mentioned whether it was a defined throat yet. Michelle on Zoom asked, as a manifesting generator 5-1 sacral, what crystals can we use to strengthen our voice?
Oh yeah. So I'm going to show you a few, and then I've got some resources for you guys to check out, because and like I said, what I have found is that and there's definitely information out there about, you can Google it, get books. They have tons of books on you know, crystals for healing certain chakras. And sometimes you'll see different things. But how I found my partner here was, you know, I let it come to me. And a lot of times you'll read that if you really get into this and read it, they'll, you know, folks will talk about how you don't choose the crystal chooses you. After I have invested in quite a few, but this is the one where I actually, you know, set an intention to have my crystal find me. And that's exactly what happened. You know, I asked the question, where am I going to find the crystal I need to help me? Because I was just buying crystals, you know, put my hand in, take one out. I wasn't really paying attention. And then I would try to use them and I was like, I don't feel any connection. So it took me a minute to do some research, do some learning. And so I just set the intention. And so I just want you guys to be open to that. Although it may say, or I can recommend something, it might actually be something else that will resonate with you. But we can definitely give you guys a starting point, right, to work with. Okay, so let's see what else I got here. Yeah, and I don't know if that person can say if they were, if they had that defined, the channel, if it was defined, or maybe what gates they had.
Dina said she does have a defined manifesting generator 4-6.
So with the defined throat, you know, it depends on like what the channels are, where you may have to wait again to be invited. But you will always, with a defined throat, you'll always have that ability to speak. When it's open, it's, you know, you will have much less opportunity until it's really time, until you're in the right space to do that. Yeah, so I have to see a little bit more, but cool. If she posted in there, I can share some info with her or him. I'm not sure if it was a girl. Oh. Yeah, so kind of this is what I was just saying, you know, that we need to apply. You know, I can't remember who mentioned it, but Cindy, I think someone already had mentioned this, that yeah. So once I was called and found my crystal, you know, then it was game on. You know, spending, you know. It does seem crazy to some extent to talk about, I'm going to be with my crystal and I'm going to take care of it and meet with it and respect it. But again, this is my start at my reconnection to the earth. Okay, so of course I'm going to respect it and look at it. It's gorgeous. So yeah, I had to get to this place of belief and setting the clear intention about how we were going to work together. And then, you know, the mindset of being patient, being persistent, you know, not just, you know, sitting with it for 5 minutes and then saying, oh, this doesn't work. It's about, again, that intention, that belief, putting your energy into it, and that love and that, you know, and the compassion around how, you know, someone had to dig this up. Someone did something to get this to me. So what is the story behind that? Like, how did this actually get here? And then having that gratitude once you get it and it's actually working, it's pretty powerful. I mean, I'm totally not kidding. Like, because like I said, I wouldn't share this if it wasn't true. But when I really got connected, it was almost like I could feel it pulsing. And so as I'm going to start to introduce this with my clients, that is the kind of level that we're going to be looking for, where you could be holding a crystal and it is alive, but where you can actually feel it, like. I don't know if this has to do with the starseed stuff, but this is my crystal. And like I said, it's been pretty powerful. It's helped me through a lot. But again, it was taking the time to invest in the belief, the intention, and, you know, not just putting it in a box and forgetting about it. You know, we're partners now. I have my earth partner, and who knows, you know, where we're going to go or what it's going to help me get to. But hey, here we are today. So yeah, so we've got to have that belief and that intention. Otherwise, it's just not gonna. It's not gonna work, right? So let me just do a quick time check. Okay, I think we're still good. All right, so I just picked out a few of the gates of the throat to kind of talk about the crystals. And again, this is my experiment. These are the things that I used over the last year to help me. And so my method was, again, to you know, set the intention for my 23rd gate. You know, I set the intention of, okay, I want to find, you know, I'm waiting for my crystal. And so I was led to a clear quartz. And so if you read about the clear quartz, it's known as the master healer. This one is, you know, used a lot in technology. And I thought it was interesting how you know, that the healing of the I know or not, like being able to express that, just healing again, that block of when I was little, the conditioning of, you know, you're the quiet one, but then when you talk, you know, don't, you know, but don't talk, right? So that has really helped me to release a lot of that. And there's practices and rituals that you can have where, you know, you get into that space, whether it's, you know, in the morning for meditation or at night. For me, the crystal work seems to do better in the evening. The morning it doesn't work for me, but I found that having a ritual at night using the crystals, that's what kind of worked for me. And then, you know, just being patient and persistent, but not trying to do it all at once, just really focusing on, you know, one at a time and working with that crystal one at a time. And again, investing the energy, getting the energy back, and then, you know, journaling the healing. So for me, you know, that's part of my ritual is, you know, okay, here's my intention, here's the tools I'm going to use, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. And so I need to, again, journal and have something in 3D to show me, okay, I started here, here's what I did, and here's where I am now. That's what I need to show that I'm making progress, right? Because this is important work to me. Like, I want this conditioning gone. I want to show up and be, you know, the real me. So yeah, so for my gate 23, if you have that, clear quartz worked for me. But again, you can think about that, look it up, and then if you've got a store near you, just check it out. Don't buy the first one that you see, kind of feel it out, see if anything calls to you, and then maybe that'll be the one for you. And then, okay, so for the gate 21, this was a big help for me. This I was carrying, I think maybe 2. I think for this one I started with 2, and then I got a larger one because I was losing them in the laundry because I was actually keeping them in my pants, in my pockets, because it helped me to really ground. Just because of all of the pressure in the head and the gates that I have activated there, and then my 3420, I really just needed something to help, you know, get clarity, take inspired action to get my mind focused. So the hematite really helped me. And I was wearing them, you know, as close to my body as I could. You know, sometimes I would put them really close. But again, when you find your crystal and you're working with it, you know, you want to, some folks will keep it, you know, in a bag. There's tons of information. I have links about, you know, how to care for them, how to take care of them, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you want to, as a partner, because if it's going to be your partner, you want to have respect for it and do those types of things. So I definitely learned a lot about that. For the gate 31, it's about elected leadership. So in my corporate coaching, I have a lot of opportunity and a lot of, you know, that's a lot about what it is leading people through change, leading people through mindset changing in corporate. Imagine that. So for me, it was about, it came down to like the decision making. So again, calming the mind, looking at all the options. Okay, I'm in this position and I want to make sure that it's clear. So the stuff I'm communicating through my 23, that's got to be clear. So it's also interesting how like all of these combine together. You know, there's not one separate thing. Like our body it's all one. If you affect something, it affects the whole thing. So yeah, if you're going to experiment with this, you know, like I said, do some journaling, see what happens, and then like take it slow, like do one at a time, and then see if you get some results. But yeah, the golden tiger eye, so beautiful. So that's the one that I use for that. And then for the 8, so that's I call that the rebel gate. I always think of that as the rebel gate because again, to manifest and to share and to contribute, you know, because it's your unique self-expression. It might be different. You might upset people. People might not get it, what you're saying or the change you're trying to implement. But yeah, so that's a cool one. And the aquamarine, so beautiful. And I actually had found some raw ones. I can't remember where I got them from. But for me, it was about the courage to self-express. So again, with all the combination of conditioning and all that stuff, it was like, okay, I want to, you know, be my unique self, but I needed to get past the courage part. I had like a lot of fear around expressing it. And I even shared recently with some folks how, you know, it would feel like, oh, like this thing, like, what is this thing? And it was this block of courage of just, not worrying about what other people think and communicating in a clear way, that makes sense, that's not all over the place. So for me, again, as I look at this slide, I can see how they all support each other. And so it's really been, fantastic. And I'm so excited that I found this tool, because now we have human design. I've got something in 3D that's real, that we can make a connection with. And again, with that intention and belief, for me, it's worked, right? So you got to experiment and see if it works. Like, so for some of you, maybe it will be the flower essence, maybe it will be the oil, maybe it will be using tarot cards. So I'm just glad to have a chance to kind of share this with you guys today. Let's see what else. I'm just checking the time. I want to make sure. Yep. So here, like I said, we'll get all this out to you guys. But I found this one site, it's okay, but there's tons of tools out there now. It's so popular, there's tons of marketing around, the water bottles where you can put the crystal in the middle. They have tons of different things, so you can have fun with some of that. The Beginner's Guide to Healing Crystals. I really love this website. They have a really nice handout. Again, it's a guide, right? So you want to check it out, use your authority to see which direction you want to go or which crystal you want to use. So don't forget to use that as you're choosing things. I have 2 books. I have them right here. So Judy Hall is amazing. I don't want to be a Julie Hall. I just want to learn from her. So I've got her Encyclopedia of Crystals. It's an amazing, beautiful book. And she's got a lot out there. So I totally recommend Judy. I had to put the science in. So I did find a website that gave a little bit more around, the science and tech of crystals and how they're used, in technology and medical things and computers and all that kind of stuff. And then I also wanted to share, I know I showed my chart, but if you are into human design, if you're a practitioner, if you haven't used Genetic Matrix, it's amazing. It's the best software. And they have been doing such amazing work with enhancing the charts with astrology and different views. So again, the whole idea of, my research into finding how all these things support each other and are connected, now going in there, I can do a chart where I can see my human design, I can see my Vedic alignments, I can see my astrological alignments, and then looking at the numerology and all the data, it's just beautiful to see how, all of these systems really support each other and can give you more data and more, like for us 1-3s who want to get to the detail, right? You've got plenty of stuff there to dig into. And then I also have the link here for the Starseed Quest family. So like I said, they've got a long waiting list. Like I said, I'm working with them to see about maybe partnering up with them, if they can give me at least some level of information where I can, integrate some of that learning into human design as far as the different charts and things. And then the other thing I wanted to say about this was that it's really cool, because if you have the markings for the crystals, they actually go out to Arkansas twice a year, and they do digs, right? So they actually go to a place where they dig and find their crystals out of the earth. So I got an invitation for that. So I was like, okay, this is crazy, right? So it's really interesting. But yeah, if you're interested in that, you can check that out. Let's see what else. Yeah, and then if you wanted to have a reading with me, like I said, this is something new I'm doing, but what we can do is really just kind of look at your chart and kind of hone in on maybe 1 or 2 things that you're trying to release, or some conditioning that you're trying to heal. And so if you're interested in that, you could just email me your birth stuff. I'll get this information. Cindy will help get this out to you guys. You can include the hashtag Crystals Rock, and I'll give you guys a discount depending on the type of reading you want to have. And then, if you don't have your exact birth time, that's okay. We can work on that, on figuring that out together. But if you have a minute to find that, do a little research. It's always best, as you guys know, if you're, to human design, if we have your time, it's really helpful. So I just wanted to offer that. Like I said, this is something new, but I think I have enough information and data where I'm going to start incorporating this into my human design practice. So if you're interested in that, let's do it, and we'll find your earth partner. We'll find you a beautiful crystal to help. And then I did want to share one more thing before any final questions and before we wrap up, that another part of what I feel like I'm here to help with is this balancing of the masculine and feminine energies. So this is another topic that the last couple of years has really come up because we are in this shift. So if you hear that terminology, you know, people talk about the shift, you know, we're in a shift. So yeah, the shift is real. And I know if you follow along with the updates from Quantum, you know, from Karen and the team, you know, they share a lot about the energy and the changes in the universe and all the effects that are happening on the planet and the big changes that are happening. And so my, I'm trying to find the reference. And when I do, if you guys are interested, I'll share it. But one of the things I read about the balancing of the energies was these some signs or where I can't remember right where it was, but I'll try and find it. But I saw this story yesterday as I was going through my, I don't know which website, I don't know if it was Fox News or Drudge or something, but I saw this little news story about the Pope appointing 6 women to the Vatican Council. So now whether you're Catholic or not, it doesn't matter. My point here is that the information that I had read was talking about, you know, how women in the old days, back then, you know, we were the shamans and that we helped to keep that peace and keep things balanced. And the material that I was reading had talked about, you know, when women are brought into, you know, religious institutions like with the Pope, that this is like would be a big sign that the balance is coming. So when I saw this yesterday, I was like, oh my God, it's happening, right? So they literally called out that when you see women coming into these high levels, you know, in these institutions, then you will know for sure that things are changing. So I just wanted to share that because I was like, oh wow, it is actually real and it's happening. So pretty exciting. Yeah, so again, you know, a lot of the change that's happening, it's not going to happen overnight. It will probably take a couple generations maybe to clear out. But, you know, if we can hold the light, you know, a lot of the dark stuff is going to show up, right? When you turn the light on, you see everything. And I think that's a lot of what's happening now. So try not to, you know, freak out too much when we watch the news. It's just, you know, all the garbage is coming out and it's getting cleared out. So it's just going to take a little patience and love and compassion to help each other get through it. So that is my presentation for today. I'm so excited. Cindy, thank you for helping co-host with me. I think that was all I had. Yep, that was the end.
So if you want to stop the share so we can see closer your crystal that way.
Yay. Yeah. Oh yeah, and were you guys able to see? I think I was holding her up. Can you see it now? So this is my partner in crime that I wanted to share. So it's good to see all you guys. Yeah.
So there were a couple of questions. Paige was saying she's putting the intention out for a Larimar crystal to find her.
Ooh.
Michelle Price shared that it's not crazy to the Native Americans. They call them the rock people.
Yep.
And Sandy shares, a few weeks ago, a new friend lent me a crystal and she felt, like you mentioned, an incredible pulse that she had never felt before. Jan.
Yeah, at one point when I was working with, and so I call her Diana. She's got some feminine energy in her. And there was one point when I was working with her, I literally thought it was going to like levitate off my hand. And I said, okay. I said, I'm not ready for that.
Okay, Jane says, Shungite, citrine, and Herkimer have been so helpful. And there's a couple people that said, because there were gates that you didn't cover.
Yeah.
Would that be something that they could, like Michelle asked about the gate 56 or 33?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll expand that list to add crystals to it. And Cindy, if you could post it or we can get it out to folks or just email me and I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Well, we'll post it on the replay page and on the replay on Facebook. Yeah. Any suggestions if you have hanging gates in the throat with us joking gems to strengthen or facilitate? Yeah.
So again, we got to look at like, what is that gate? What's the energy of that gate? What's the intention? And then what are you trying to look to clear? So we can look at, you know, what, you know, in the guides and stuff about what's recommended. And then it's really, you know, I don't even know so much if it's about the actual crystal, but more about like the intention you have behind it. So yeah, if folks just want to email me their specific questions, or if I can get the chat I can respond and give you some details.
And there have been people under the Facebook post also there. I wanted
Okay.
to share what Lane did, and I thought that was very interesting. I've always known I'm a starseed. Beginning at age 4, I used to point to a particular part of the sky and tell my family that was where I came from. I'm a 5/1 projector with no gates on my throat, and singing is where I've expressed myself a lot. I wrote a song in 1987 that starts out, I'm a little starseed. I plant myself in light.
Oh,
I water myself with positive thoughts, and I grow into being a joyful delight. Thank you for helping me remember to use my star energy, along with my many crystals.
oh, wow. Lane, I want to connect with you. Wow, that is, I love your song. Yeah, it is, you know, I just love that, you know, all of us who are here on the planet right now, we are like living in history, and to be able to, you know, have, you know, to connect like this and to talk about being a starseed, and, you know, maybe my soul is, maybe I am Pleiadian, maybe I didn't, you know, don't have a human soul. I think it's like so cool and amazing that, you know, we can do this and, you know, connect to each other. So Lane, I love it. Congratulations, little starseed. I love it.
Nicole, the notes will be posted both under, we'll have the replay up on our blog. It'll be up on YouTube, and it's also on the Facebook page. And the notes that Tina was going to share, we'll have posted there. And I'll also post on the replay her email. And so if you wanted to email, just in case.
Yeah.
And
that'd be the best thing. Yep.
Again, it's very exciting. You're going to be a presenter at the Human Design for our first International Human Design Conference. And I don't know if everybody noticed that hashtag they're using is Women in Human Design, the Women of Human Design.
So awesome.
So we will post that link there on the replay also. And thank you again. Any last words that you'd like to?
I would like to say again that I'm so grateful to have shared some time with you. Hopefully you guys got something positive out of this, and all the craziness that's going on, and just have fun with it. You know, it can get really heavy. You know, trying to decondition stuff is going to come up. And it could be pretty painful to get through, but, you know, even if like you have a little crystal to help, you know, but again, I totally recommend, you know, journaling, and getting really focused. Don't try to do too much. Just experiment with one, like what's your most painful thing right now, and let's dig into it. Let's do it. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy your weekend. I hope to hear or maybe see some of you guys at the conference. Thank you, Cindy. Thanks, everybody.